Hello everyone. Police efficiency or the lack of it, police brutality, police strength and capacity, conditions for men and women in blue, and the lopsided people-police ratio have all of a sudden put Police Commissioner Tom Kulunga in the spotlight as the operational head of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, and Nixon Duban from the political front as police minister. Both men have made time available to be on Tok Piksa. Gentlemen, thank you for that. And let me begin with you, Mr. Duban. The number of cases of police brutality now are unprecedented, far more now than ever before, and it comes under your watch. Is that fair?
I can tell you from my own understanding that the police are very serious about this thing. There is a strong emphasis on zero tolerance. Over the last 3 years, about 87 officers who are implicated in police brutality have been dismissed.
Senior officers as well as juniors?
All ranks.
All ranks.
And about 73 I know were also demoted.
73 demoted?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is an indication of how hard the police is maintaining this zero tolerance. It's a difficult situation where we seem to be accused, in not being prompt on those issues on most occasions. So police have come down hard on, in terms of its internal affairs. When you talk about police brutality, I know Commissioner has got a very strong view on that. We are totally against it. And these statistics that I'm telling you is within the last 3 years alone.
Yes.
So you can be assured, and the public can be assured, that there is no room for police brutality in RPNGC.
And just on that number, sir, is that hurting you or the government politically?
I think it's a good indication of how hard we are managing our men and women in police force. That there is no room for police brutality, and if you are stepping out of your line of duty, then you are in for a similar treatment. There is no room for any exception. You have a duty to uphold. If you step out of your line, then the police will simply apply the same rule as any other policemen and women in this country.
Okay. I'll come to you now, Police Commissioner. You're from the old school, and discipline has been the call sign of your operations. All of a sudden, you've got policemen stepping out of line, brutality, inefficiency, all of those things. They're not part of your culture. Why has that come about now, do you think?
Police brutality seems to occur quite often, and as my minister said, the executive management take it very, very seriously. Seriously and doing something about it in terms of conducting relevant courses. At the training in Bomana, they are well trained that we are here to protect life and property.
That's right. They take an oath, don't they?
Yes.
But
and
they don't seem to be living up to that.
Well, not all of them. Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them, some of them are not. And we, as I said, we take it very seriously, and we have the international community, particularly the Red Cross and human rights abuse groups, come in and conduct workshops. The recent one was in Anchor with all the Highlands PPCs. That was last week. They've completed conducted a workshop, and they've undergone this workshop for a week. And we also produce small booklets, hand booklets, on ethics and conduct of police, and they're distributed to individuals. So in terms of training these people or reminding them again, these kind of courses and workshops and handbooks are given out all the time. And we also during our conferences and in our meetings, this matter of police brutality is a major concern. We don't have a good reputation as far as the United Nations is concerned in human rights abuse, and we're fully aware of it. And the public perception is that we are not doing much. That is not really true.
Perhaps I should phrase that question to you, Minister. The Prime Minister did, when he was talking to you at the forum or gave the keynote address, said that the public is scared of the police. Is that the case on the ground?
Well, Police, in this country, they are also faced with a tougher situation, because we have, a racial problem, and at some point in time, the public are always provocative, and that is an issue that you need to also appreciate, for police. I understand the concerns raised by the public. There are pockets of some police conduct which may not go down well, and generally that should not be used to really pull the entire police force into a situation where they are not really to be blamed for. And I fully appreciate the Prime Minister's comment. We need to really be on top of the situation. The public must be seen, the police must be seen to be community friendly, and they should not be seen to be driving fear unnecessarily into the public. So one of the immediate steps that the Prime Minister has directed the RPNGC is the recalling of the high-powered firearms, and to ensure that there are administrative guidelines in place which the Commissioner will authorize, and under what occasion and under what circumstances. So those are key initiatives that are now being put in place to try and reduce that fear.
Have they been recalled, the guns?
This is an administrative matter which the Commissioner will have to incorporate into the systems. We know that most of the firearms have already been issued to various parts of the country and handled by the policemen and women, and those are matters that the Commissioner will have to address within the next few months.
Yes.
And I think the administrative guideline is a good thing. It's also an audit on the carriage of those firearms, which can become very dangerous if we don't have any administrative guideline as to who should be accessing those firearms. And that is the major concern Prime Minister.
When can they be used?
When can they be used? Okay. And not for necessarily carrying around. And when they're doing their frontline duties, is it necessary for them to hold it in public? Those are
that
key.
in itself is just holding it is frightening.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think this is where the fright comes in.
That's it.
Not necessarily police action, just the mere fact that they hold a very powerful gun.
Absolutely. And you've had cases where police in the process of executing their duties have shot public, and mostly from high-powered firearms. So Prime Minister's concern is basically, how do we control a sophisticated weapon in the hands of a policeman? Who should actually be using it, under what circumstances? So I am very sure Commissioner has taken control of it. We have had a meeting which we are now putting together the administrative guideline, and those who will be accessing would be authorized by the Commissioner alone, and not the PPCs and anybody else.
Right now it's the PPCs that do that, even down to the sub-inspector in a district.
Yeah. This administrative review is going to be a wholesale one, and that's what Prime Minister is recommending for us.
Okay.
And I take it as a positive step to also improve our image in our approach to handling law and order in this country.
We're looking at the operations of the police force given increasing criticisms over police brutality, efficiency, and also the hardships faced by policemen and women. Okay, a lot of flake has been thrown at the police and their work, but the other side of the coin is that, and I've seen some of the places that policemen sleep, like Gordon's barracks and other police barracks, they're basically in shambles. I mean, some of them are virtually on the verge of being condemned. And they live in these kind of areas and are expected to be in front lines of dangerous situations.
I agree. Yesterday I had a big tour with the member for Mosby South and Minister for Sports and 2015 Games, Honorable Justice Chakinko. And we were able to visit some of the barracks, and I was appalled, And I think it is incumbent upon us, we are now talking about modernization. We must also incorporate approaches to looking into the affairs of the police officers in terms of the housing issues. And I want to also emphasize strongly that there is a strong government commitment to improve on those areas. And, we will launch our program in April, and we have bigger plans for those areas. And under my leadership and under the leadership of the Commissioner, and of course under the leadership of the Prime Minister, we will create some interventions in the process.
Yes. And the modernization, we'll get on to that just a little later. I just want to get on to police numbers, police strength right now, and maybe, Commissioner, you can answer that. The ratio, of course, is lopsided. It's in favor of the people, not enough policemen. And this is being addressed. Now, how sooner do you want that? I know there's some programs going on, but at the same time, you've still got this lopsided imbalance.
That's correct, John. The medium-term development plan is for us to train numbers to, currently we have 5,300 uniformed officers. And the medium-term development plan is to increase that number to 8,000 to 2015.
Right, right.
All right. In the last 3 years, we've been allocated 3 million kina each. 3 million, you can only train 240 recruits. So all you can say is we trained about 700, a little bit over 700 in the last 3 years. This year, the government funded for 480
new police.
New police
Okay.
for this year. So that also hinges on the modernization program.
Sure.
For 480. So currently we have 240 undergoing training now. So we're talking about, for this year, we could safely say 700 to 800 new recruits be graduating by the end of the year. So when you add that to 2014, 2015, we will be able to increase the manpower strength to 7,000.
Okay.
7,000. And currently our ratio, as I think you know, and we've been telling the nation, that currently our ratio is 1 police personnel to 1,600. 600. But the ideal one is, 1 to 450 as the United Nations recommendation.
Right. That's right.
But we see, given the population we have, the developments that have taken place so far, we should have a police strength of 20,000. One ratio is 1 to 400.
When do you hope to get that magical number?
You and I might not be around, but 2050.
Okay.
That's the vision 2050. Our police manpower would increase to 25,000 by 250.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, how much of an input is there from provincial governments and governors? I think they're also concerned about increasing strength in their respective provinces, and they've done something about it.
Yes. The one that stands out is Enga Governor, Honorable P.T. Piras. He has funded for 60 people to be recruited from his area. Not necessarily they go back after that training, but he gets 60 people. So the provincial governments, particularly the Highlands region, Southern Highlands has indicated, and Chihuahua has indicated, and Western Highlands has indicated that they will fund, help us recruit recruits from their locations.
And after that, do they go back to?
No, they would go back, but not necessarily the people who come from there. But John, I'm just coming to it. But I like on Tok Piksa, I want the relevant governors to know that recruit training, it's not just a training of personnel from Bomana and then getting posted out. They've got to be on a salary, and it's got to be funded. So we need to work out those. I'm working on those issues. We've got to sort them out before I attend to the governor's requests.
Okay.
Ongoing salaries and terms and conditions. Yes.
And the auxiliary component of it, or you've said that there's no funds that they be done away with for now. You've got oral governor saying he's going to continue that. Of course, the respective provinces can continue that if they have the money and the will.
There were a number of reasons. One of the reasons was that we could not pay. But the most obvious one was that the reserves, not all of them, but quite a large number of them, were involved in doing activities outside of
Police work.
Police work. and that really tarnished the overall constabulary's reputation. And there were other issues. So in the review report recommended that we should do away with that, and then on a clean slate, we will advertise, and people will apply, and then we'll go through the process of accepting them and be on contract for 3 years.
Okay.
So
And this is where
this is where we want to go now. This is the way we want to proceed now. And we're looking at people who actually have steady jobs, who would come and give their service to the community without an allowance or without a cost. And that is the whole idea. It's not for employing unemployed people and you bring them on a payroll. That is not the idea. So people are misunderstanding the concept itself. So there's a lot of confusion. And the best thing to do is put them all away, and we will start all over again on a clean slate.
Thank you for staying with us. We're talking to the Police Minister, Nixon Duban, and the Police Commissioner, Tom Kulunga, on all police issues, given recent criticisms of increased instances of police brutality. Tell me about modernization, Minister. This is a new concept. I don't think it's out there. Nobody knows about it. What can we expect under this modernization program?
When we came to government, we made law and order an important priority, especially Prime Minister and also through his campaigns in the country. And we are now basically reflecting on the Prime Minister's vision. And the way to start, I see, is to create a proactive approach by rejuvenating the police force. And that is the major pillar behind the modernization. Getting back to the basics.
Okay.
Appreciating your roles and being more receptive, being more responsive. And that is the basis of this program. And to a larger extent, really looking into the 64 recommendations by the Police 2004 review report by the former minister. So those are the basic pillars of this modernization. Once you set the scale right, then it will trigger off other important adjustments in the next few years. Because police have already lost focus. As far as we see, we need to bring them back and tell them, this is our major role and this is our major function. So it's a rejuvenation exercise. Modernization process of this police force can be achieved, but if we program it well over the next 4 or 5 years, we can be able to achieve some of the goals that has been espoused under the 2050 vision within a more shorter period, you know.
And are we doing that ourselves in country, or are we going to reopen ECP, get the Australians assistance? Are we doing that ourselves or seeking overseas assistance?
We have options to invite all our good friends to also join in partnership. You know, the room is there for a further improvement. We would like to take the approach to open up on those dialogues. At the moment, we are taking the initial step forward to set the pace, and then where it is fitting for countries like Australia, New Zealand, you know, that have concurrent programs with our police force, they can now look at where we want to go and then tap into the opportunities that are available. Okay. So this is the main focus.
All right. We see policing in this country as a law and order thing. It is also an economic thing. It
Absolutely.
is also a relationship thing with other countries. That's going to be part of the modernization concept?
Yeah, you know, John, let me tilt the focus a bit, and I want to say that, you know, the damages that we do, you know, economically, you know, by writing reports about a very trivial matter, you know, and the damage
that's us, I suppose, the media.
The damage that we create, you know, how do you repair it, you know, in a big way? You know, it's a huge economic loss to this country's future. And when we have people complaining about not enough number of policemen and women, we are denying those opportunities. So we must also be mindful of that. And I want to also encourage, you know, good reporting, you know, and, you know, give us an option to adjust rather than condemning every now and then, So policemen and women are human beings, they will always have some weaknesses in some parts, but this exercise will set the stage that we are ready for new challenges. We want to improvise, innovate, look at the reports that have been done, and see where we should set the stage for this country in terms of maintaining and policing law and order.
Okay. Yeah. So our perception abroad is not really good, is there? How, from the government standpoint, how does other governments and countries see us?
Well, let me give you an example. If you buy a Galaxy 2, the latest phone on the market, you want to set the time zone, you won't find Papua New Guinea in it. It gives you an indication of where we are, So that is something that tells us that we are not recognized. Maybe because of some bad publicity or maybe because of some reason. But we are not being captured in the global world properly, And one of the things that you will note, John, is that people remember us
for the bad things.
Of
course, it's human nature, the typical thing, I suppose. Under this modernization program, what kind of people are you looking at? Form 4 leavers, university level, what sort of people are going to be in the police force to take us forward?
Well, all officer cadets, I know there is an emphasis on university students also, graduates, should I say, to be also recruited. And we want to have the best also to be recruited. This is an institution that has bigger capacity needs, and you need specialist people also. So you just can't pick people who are not ready. And one of the contributing factor, and a major contributing factor, is not making that mistake of recruiting unfit and improper people.
And what's this touching ECP? Is that a serious consideration now under the modernization program? Are we bringing in Australians as part of the training?
Well, the doors are open for discussions. We had a ministerial forum. I think it's more about in-house matters first. Let's get the police force to appreciate their roles and functions well. Let's see where we stand through a process of due diligence. And then when we set the scale right, then we open doors. Because if we don't, then this program, it's also costing Australian taxpayers money, We have to do it right. The issues that have been raised in the past on immunity and all these are issues that will have to be relooked at, and how best this arrangement can be integrated into the current arrangements that we have. I think the main focus is to drive the work of the police force in our perspective first.
Okay, that's right.
And then we allow people who are able to assist us to see where we want to be and then assist us in that regard.
Sometimes policing in our country is not the same as that in New Zealand or Australia.
Absolutely, John.
More challenging.
Yeah. So we have to go that extra length to get
absolutely.
And just tell us about that. How do we have to be a little bit different according to our own situations?
Well, for a start, the main factor is the diversity. The diversity of this country. We're a country that we have a lot of challenges, intra challenges. Very heterogeneous, When then you want to bring in stability into a community, you are looking at a more different level of stability when you talk about stability in a modern country like Australia or New Zealand. So police are also faced with a similar challenge, and policing law and order in this country, is a very difficult challenge. When you look at the coastal areas, elections will give you a picture.
Sure.
The villages, the provinces down at the coastal areas are more manageable. When you have in the highlands, it's a bit tough, and you need a lot of mobile squad focus in there, more police presence, more military presence. So those are indications that tell you where we are in actual policing.
You are the Minister for Police now. And I guess with all ministers, the wisdom of the Prime Minister or the government of the day, you may move on. If you did, what would you like to leave back in your portfolio?
If I am pointing my direction in that way, then I would love to leave a huge impact, maybe not measurable, but a tangible impact. And it is the modernization that I think is the legacy that we'll leave behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But Mr. Kulunga, you are from the old school, still there and still talking about discipline, yes. Proud of it, passionate about it.
Yes.
What would you like to leave behind?
I would like to see my police men and women live in decent homes. I think that is the basis of many of our ill discipline issues and other issues that affect the overall performance and their well-being. I would love to see them live in decent homes.
You might be on the way to that. The government has said that it is one of its pillar policies, police, and that it is supported that by backing it up with money, not just budget, but provinces are doing the same. The SIP is doing the same, so you've got some money coming to you.
Yes, Don. I think at this juncture, I think Tok Piksa, it's important that I say that. I need to announce to the population that this government has come good. That is why we're talking of modernizing the police force. Without the government supporting us, we wouldn't be talking that language. They've given us 53 million kina, and for housing alone, 20 million. And that's the first time for a long, long, long time.
At least something is going on, and at least people can now feel a little bit safe towards police, I suppose. Things are happening. But gentlemen, we are running out of time.
Thank you.
And thank you for making time available to us, Minister and Commissioner.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
That's been another edition of Tok Piksa. We'll do it again, another issue, and with those who cause it. Thank you for watching.